You step into your kitchen in the dead of night, casually flipping on the light switch to grab a glass of water, only to freeze instantly in a wave of raw, gut-wrenching fury and intense nausea. There, moving boldly across the surface of your bread box, or slicking along the edge of your clean sink, is a plump, reddish-brown German cockroach, Blatella germanica. For a single agonizing second, its long, thin antennae whip through the air, sensing your presence, before it launches into a blindingly fast, chaotic sprint and completely vanishes into a microscopic crack beneath your baseboards. Your immediate evolutionary response is a toxic mixture of absolute disgust, panic, and an overwhelming urge to race to the nearest store to buy the most aggressive chemical poisons, traps, and aerosol sprays available to completely saturate your home. This deep-seated, violent hatred is driven by a global cultural consensus, the unyielding belief that the cockroach is nothing more than a stupid, filthy anomaly of nature, a primitive, worthless pest that multiplies solely by feeding on human trash and contributes absolutely zero value to the planet. We view its presence as a definitive mark of structural decay, a chaotic error in the biological fabric of our living spaces. But that frantic, emotionally fueled assumption is a staggering, profoundly uneducated lie. Not even close. In that precise second when you watched that shiny intruder slip behind your woodwork, you were looking at a masterpiece of survival engineering, carrying an organic armor plating and immune system that are currently being reverse engineered by advanced robotics institutions and top-tier biomedical labs around the world. Far from a clumsy vector of waste, this creature operates with a decentralized biological blueprint so advanced it completely defies the physical limits of human anatomy. While you treat this target as a basic household glitch to be stomped into the floor, its evolutionary design functions like an unbreakable piece of living alien technology. The moment you strip away the domestic disgust and crack open the terrifying resilience engineered into its chitinous frame, your entire perspective on this kitchen phantom will be completely turned upside down. Think about that for a second. The exact creature you view as an empty, filthy nuisance is a walking biological tank, designed with an evolutionary script so flawless that it can process, survive, and actively neutralize the very chemical warfare we spend billions of dollars trying to perfect against it. To truly understand this unbreakable kitchen phantom, we have to strip away our instinctive disgust and look directly at its anatomical construction, which functions like a heavily armored biomechanical terminator. It is a biological masterpiece of structural resilience. If you see a cockroach sprinting across your floor tile and aggressively slam a heavy rubber shoe down on it at an angle, you will often find that the insect simply shakes off the impact and continues running as if nothing happened. This near-miraculous durability is driven by its highly specialized, flexible exoskeleton. The cockroach's chitinous shell is divided into overlapping elastic plates that can completely flatten under extreme pressure, allowing it to withstand a crushing force equivalent to over 900 times its own body weight without sustaining a single internal fracture. But the most shocking, deeply alien aspect of its physiology lies within its completely decentralized nervous system. Unlike humans who rely on a single, highly vulnerable command center in the skull to regulate every bodily function, a cockroach operates on a network of independent nerve bundles, called ganglia, distributed entirely across its body segments. Furthermore, this insect does not breathe through its mouth or nose. It draws oxygen directly from the surrounding air through a series of tiny, specialized microvalves located along the sides of its torso, known as spiracles. Because of this brilliant, distributed design, if you were to completely decapitate a cockroach, you would not instantly kill its body. The headless torso will comfortably stand, walk, and react to physical touch for several consecutive weeks. Its internal blood clotting mechanism prevents it from bleeding out, and its localized nerve clusters keep its systems running perfectly in the shadows. When a headless cockroach finally ceases to move after a month, it does not die from a lack of brain activity or neurological failure. It simply succumbs to basic dehydration, because without a mouth, it is physically incapable of drinking water. You are not dealing with a fragile, simple household bug. You are dealing with a hyper-optimized biological rover designed to survive catastrophic physical trauma that would instantly neutralize any mammal on Earth. This mechanical invulnerability is anchored to a staggering timeline of evolutionary triumph, cementing the cockroach as the absolute ultimate survivor in planetary history. Long before the very first humans walked the Earth, and even before the dinosaurs ruled the continents, the ancestors of this insect were already navigating the shadows of ancient primeval forests. They have successfully bypassed global ice ages, massive tectonic shifts, and catastrophic meteor impacts that wiped out up to 90% of all living species on Earth. They are the ultimate biological constants of our world. A major secret behind this terrifying near-cosmic endurance is their unique cellular architecture. Human cells are constantly dividing and are exceptionally vulnerable to outside disruption. But a cockroach's cellular division occurs at a dramatically slower pace, localized entirely around their brief molting cycles. Because of this slow-motion cellular clock, they can easily withstand exposures to extreme ionizing radiation that exceed a lethal human threshold by a factor of 15, strolling right through environmental contamination zones that would liquefy human internal tissue in a matter of hours. But do not make the uneducated mistake of assuming this ancient blueprint makes them slow, robotic, or incapable of rapid adaptation. This insect possesses an incredibly advanced internal cognitive memory matrix. When you lay down a toxic commercial chemical gel or a hidden poison bait trap behind your kitchen appliances, the local cockroach population doesn't just blindly march into it. They possess a high-speed learning curve. The moment a cockroach encounters a new chemical hazard, its sensory arrays map the molecular compound. If it survives a mild dose, its brain permanently logs the toxic signature. More importantly, it transfers this critical survival data to its surrounding colony members via complex chemical pheromone signaling networks. Within a generation, the entire lineage can completely rewire its taste receptors to reject those specific baits entirely, effectively rendering your expensive commercial chemical warfare entirely useless. You are not fighting a simple, primitive pest. You are waging war against a highly synchronized, ancient survival network that can rapidly decode and neutralize human technology in real time. While humanity is locked in a bitter, non-stop domestic war against this nocturnal wanderer, a spectacular and high-stakes medical breakthrough is unfolding inside advanced research laboratories across China and Great Britain. For decades, we have poured millions of dollars into developing chemical toxins to annihilate this insect, completely blind to the fact that its tiny brain holds the absolute holy grail of future human medicine. Scientists have recently discovered that when a cockroach is exposed to hostile environments, its central nervous system synthesizes a collection of unique, hyperpotent antimicrobial peptides. These organic compounds are so phenomenally aggressive that they instantly isolate and destroy over 99% of deadly, drug-resistant superbacteria, including the lethal methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, MRSA. Because the cockroach is evolutionarily dictated to navigate the filthiest microclimates on Earth, it is biologically forced to maintain an absolutely sterile internal biochemistry to avoid immediate organ failure. It cannot afford to get sick. The exact creature we associate with disease is actually carrying the precise molecular blueprint that will soon save millions of human lives from incurable bacterial pandemics. But this microscopic medical miracle is nothing compared to the massive industrial-scale rescue operation that billions of wild cockroach species execute every single day across the planet's wilderness. Outside our tiny apartment kitchens, the cockroach functions as the single most critical nutrient recycling engine in the entire biosphere. They are the supreme, frontline managers of the global nitrogen cycle. Moving silently through the world's deepest forests, these hyper-efficient cleaners consume mountains of tough, rotting wood, dense leaf litter, and fibrous organic debris that other insects find completely impossible to digest. By grinding down this unyielding material through their robust digestive tracts, they release trapped nitrogen directly back into the dry forest floor, systematically fertilizing the earth. Without this massive, non-stop waste processing campaign, the world's forests would quickly stall, suffocating beneath a catastrophic, unmanageable tide of dead, fallen timber, and starved of the vital soil nutrients required to regenerate life. When you reframe your kitchen encounter through this macro-level biological data, the primitive narrative that the common cockroach is a worthless, defective error of nature completely shatters. That rapid reddish-brown phantom sprinting behind your baseboards is not a chaotic mistake. It is an elite, high-tech biorobot running an absolute code for long-term survival, carrying millions of years of evolutionary engineering directly inside its resilient frame. Where our immediate human disgust recognizes nothing but a filthy pest that needs to be drowned in toxic poisons, advanced science sees a masterfully designed kinetic blueprint. Its compression-resistant exoskeleton and decentralized neural networks are actively showing robotics engineers how to build indestructible search and rescue drones, while its sterile internal chemistry holds the precise molecular keys needed to defeat the world's most aggressive, incurable bacterial pandemics. Your intense wave of defensive panic and nausea when flipping on the kitchen light is a deeply hardwired survival mechanism. But before you react with blind fury, dump half a can of aerosol neurotoxins onto your floorboards and compromise your own domestic air quality. Respect the magnificent, unbreakable machinery operating right in front of your eyes. You are matching wits with a flawless living tank that has casually bypassed global ice ages, massive planetary extinctions, and nuclear radiation thresholds, developing an adaptive learning curve that can decode and out-evolve our finest synthetic poisons within a single generation. Go ahead and take logical, practical steps to protect your environment. Sweep up the food crumbs, seal the plumbing gaps, and keep your sinks and countertops immaculately dry to ensure they have no invitation to enter your perimeter. But stop viewing this ancient survivor through a lens of uneducated, primitive hatred. Respect this flawless biological machine for what it truly is. Long after our modern human empires have run their course, this resilient walker will confidently step over the rubble, carrying its unbreakable code into the deep future of the planet. If this high-stakes breakdown completely transformed the way you view the ancient armor plating navigating your dark kitchen corners, smash that like button and subscribe. Nature never engineers a multi-layered survival matrix without an extraordinary long-term purpose. And sometimes, the exact creature you want to stomp out of existence is the definitive masterclass in how to stay alive against a hostile universe.